Okay, we do want to, I should say that one of the work that we're going to do, the ball is going to be under our, that in that low belly area. So if you need to empty your bladder before we get started, go ahead and get yourself set up for success. Okay, but we will start in a standing position. So place that ball right between your inner thighs. We're going to start with just a little thigh master squeeze. So keeping your toes and your knees pointing fairly forward, squeeze in at the ball and release. Squeeze in and release. Squeeze and release. And it almost will feel like the ball is trying to shove forward. So that's the kind of squeeze that we're looking for. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your inner thighs. Imagine that you're trying to push the ball in and slightly forward. Do that about 3 more times. Awesome. And now we're going to find a fairly neutral hold and start to take it into some light little squats, but we're going to think knees going past the toe squat. So rather than butt back, bend your knees and you're hinging slightly forward with the heart, we're going to stay nice and upright. Let your knees go past the toes just as far as they can, and then come back up nice and strong. Linda, you're sideways on my screen. She defies gravity. She can do her workout standing on a wall. All right, one more little dip of those knees, and we're going to keep the ball between the inner thighs and take it right into some calf raises. Lift both heels, lower with control. Keep a little bit of a squeeze in the inner thighs so that your ankles and inner thighs stay nice and stable, and you lift and lower at a nice even pace. Beautiful. 2 more up and down. All right, now we are going to take it to that butt back, bend your knees squat. So you're going to sit back like you're sitting into a chair and then come back up nice and strong and keep that nice good connection of your inner thighs to that ball. So watch your knees as you feel in and sink down into that squat. Do your knees kind of want to jam into the center and squeeze that ball? And if so, can you imagine that you're using the upper inner thighs, not your knees, to keep the ball in position? Keep your knees tracking over your toes, come back up nice and strong. I would rather you slow it down and find that connection than give me 20 where your knees drop in towards each other. Nice. Take 2 more up and down. Beautiful. And then as you come up, grab that ball, give your legs a little shake, set the ball down on the floor, 1 foot on, 1 foot off, and we're just going to roll the bottom of the foot. Beautiful. 1 more little roll of the bottom of the foot, and then we're switching right over to the other foot. So pass it over and across, 1 foot on, 1 foot off, and just a light little roll. One more light little roll, and now we are coming down, and we're going to put that ball underneath that nice little triangle. So think protruding hip bones and pubic bones. So it's going to sit right on that low belly. It's going to put a little pressure on the bladder. So if you didn't empty your bladder and you think you might need to, now would be the time to do it, because you don't want to lose time in that good work, and then the whole entire time you're just in misery. All right, so come down nice and slow and controlled. We're going to set up like we're coming to a Sphinx position, but we're going to place that ball so it's underneath that front triangle. So it's under the front low belly pubic area. Once you've got it set up, elbows and forearms are going to be in line with the shoulders. So Sphinx position for my yoga friends, that's what it's going to look like, but just with the ball underneath that front hip area. And now we're going to work into the triceps here. So keep your arms nice and strong, and you're just going to push into the palms, lift the elbows away from the floor, bend the elbows, lower back down with control. Keep the muscles in your back nice and engaged, and try to find most of this work coming out of the bend of the elbows. So push into the palms, use those muscles in the back of your arms, lower with control. You got it. Nice work. Three more to go. All right, last one here. And then we're going to see if we can keep that ball in position. Take your elbows out super wide, lower your chest, stack your hands so that your head can rest on your hands, and take 3 nice deep breaths here. Just make sure that's not too much pressure on the pelvic floor or on the bladder. One more breath. And then start to prop yourself up just a little bit, but we're just going to scooch that ball. So now it's going to come underneath the belly button. And then once you've got the ball underneath your belly button, elbows and forearms are going to support, and we're going to start with a little squish side to side. So we're just going to roll from side to side across the ball, massaging the abdomen, keeping the abdominal muscle tissue as soft as you can. But for some of us, that's a little bit uncomfortable. So you just find your comfort level. How relaxed can you let your abdominal muscles be? Massage across that ball. Beautiful. One more massage across. And then as you roll off to one side, grab that ball. And now we're going to come down a little bit further into that further down prone position. And now we're going to take the ball and pass it behind the back. So you're going to pass it behind you and then pass it up in front of your head. And then you're just going to keep your head and your chest slightly lifted as you pass that ball across the front of your body and then pass the ball behind the back. Beautiful. One more pass in this direction. And then when you're ready, we're going to reverse directions and go the other way. Nice job. One more pass around in this direction. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring it right around the front and tuck it right under the center of our chest. So we're going to place it under the chest, get it just so you want to make sure that if you've had any stuff going on in your chest or breast tissue, be mindful of where you place your ball, but see if you can get it to the center of your chest. And then we're just going to kind of soften the upper body over the ball. Stack your hands or stack your fists so that your forehead can rest. And then take about 5 nice deep breaths here. We just want to see if we can breathe into the space of the shoulder blades, a little compression in the front of the body so we can open up and create space in the back of the body. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself up away from that prone position. We're going to spin it around so that we're sitting on our butt. And we're going to take our ball and tuck it right up into that low back area. So get it as tight up against your tailbone as you can, and then lean back. It should support you just enough. And then we're going to take hands to the chest. We're going to rotate and touch. So one hand's going to come in. The other hand is going to reach back and touch. Go as slow and mindful as you need to so you keep that ball connected to the back. Lean back and rotate with control. When I was designing our workout yesterday, everything I was doing, I was like, oh, this is preparation for Christmas wrapping. So I like to do my Christmas wrapping on the floor, and I get everything spread out and I make a big old mess, and then I lose my scissors and my tape like a million times, and I have to crawl around like a maniac to reach them and find them. So everything we're doing is in prep so that we can be really fit while we wrap our Christmas presents. All right, take one more twist each way. Nice. And then bring it back to center. And now we're going to readjust the ball just a little bit so it's not so deeply tucked. And now we're going to lean back. So you're going to sit back so elbows and forearms are on the ground. Soften over the ball. Just take a second to notice how that feels, and then see how it feels to step your feet long. Awesome. And now we're going to see how it feels to come all the way onto the ball into a back bend, but you're going to be slow and you're going to be mindful as you come into this depth of work so that you don't injure your back. So slowly and mindfully bring yourself down so your head can touch the floor. It's a back bend, but we want to make sure that we're being really mindful that you're breathing comfortably. There's no shooting pain going down your legs. If there is, you want to come out right away and readjust. If it feels good and you're in a comfortable position, arms are going to come out like a T, and we're going to take 3 nice deep breaths here. My legs are slightly active, so I'm not wobbling all over the place. So there's a slight bit of action in my legs to help support. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. One more breath. And then we're going to prop ourselves up. We're going to come back to our back bend, but we're going to take it nice and slow and controlled. So prop yourself up, take your time as you come up. And now we're going to move that ball up a little further. So now we're going to come up sort of middle back, but we're probably still below the shoulder blade area. So maybe somewhere along the bottoms of the ribs. Once you've got that ball in place, legs are going to stay active. Slowly lower yourself over that ball back into that back bend. Let your arms come out to a comfortable position. Once you're there, take 3 nice big breaths. Awesome. When you're ready, we're going to come up with control. So prop your elbows up, come up and off nice and slow. And now we're going to move it on up. This time it's going to be in that space between the shoulder blades. So now we're getting pretty high up in the back. So place that ball between the shoulder blades, lower yourself down. Legs are going to stay slightly active. Drop over that ball just as much as feels good. Let your arms open out nice and wide and take 3 big breaths here. Cool. Now we're going to keep the ball in that shoulder blade area, but lift your head up. Hands are going to come behind the head to support the head. And now step your feet into that nice bent knee position. Now we're going to lift up and take those big rolls. So we're going to push into the feet, roll up and down. Just a gentle reminder that sometimes these Pilates balls, they have a little bit of a texture. So sometimes they catch your clothes and stuff. So just be gentle on yourself. If your clothes get all tangled up, take a second to untangle yourself and then come back to the work. Lovely. One more roll up and down, and then set your butt down. We're going to move that ball so that it's underneath the curve of the neck. So you're going to come down slowly and mindfully, place that ball so it's underneath the curve of your neck. So usually when we're doing our foam roller work, we stay off of the curve of the neck, but just for this one, place it under the curve of your neck. Pause for a moment, make sure everything feels good. Then once you feel like you're good, the neck feels good and supported, we're going to let the arms come out in anatomical position, and we're going to do micro turns of the head side to side. So not big full range of motion turns, but just enough so that you feel the movement of the ball shifting underneath your neck. Beautiful. Now, the next time your head turns slightly to the right, stay there and take little micro nods of the head up and down. Nice. One more nod of the head up and down, and then we're going to turn the head slightly to the left. And once you've got the head turn, add that micro nod of the head up and down. Nice. One more nod of the head up and down, and then head is going to come back to neutral. Slide your elbows in, use your elbows in the backs of the arms, prop yourself up with control, take your time, and then we're going to roll over onto one side. We're going to take the ball and we're going to tuck it up into that armpit area. So we're going to get the ball tucked in as far up into the armpit as we can. And then once we've got the way there, bottom arm is going to lay out long or as flush as it can be. Top arm is going to be support arm. And we're just going to kind of wiggle the shoulder a little in and out. So what we're trying to do is get a little massage action to that big lat muscle that runs in that little triangle formation along the back of the shoulder blade. So wriggle yourself forward and back just enough that you feel a little bit of movement in that big muscle. Awesome. One more little rock forward and back. And then when you're ready, you're just going to prop yourself up just a little bit, move the ball a little further down. So now it's going to be under the side of the ribs. So we want it under that stronger bony structure. You're going to adjust your legs so the legs feel strong and solid on the ground. Sometimes I like the top leg extended, but you just play around with what feels right to you. But now we're going to take the hands behind the head. And now we're going to use the top side body muscles to do a little side crunch. So we're going to lift up, squeezing the side body, and then lower over the ball. Lift up and squeeze, lower over the ball. Nice. About 5 or 6 more going on this side. One more little side crunch, and then we're going to take it into that side bend. So relax that bottom arm, take the top arm, stretch it up and overhead, and then just create a little length through the side of your body down into the hip. Take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Come up with control, but we're going to stay on the side for 1 more second. So we're going to lift up and then place the ball so it's going to be under the shoulder head, or that round part of the shoulder. So you're going to come down. You're going to help support with the top hand, but we're going to make it so that the bottom hand is free. So get that shoulder head on the ball, and then we're going to do our uppercut. So we're going to punch up and down. What we want is a little bit of trap of that muscle, that skin and connective tissue on the shoulder that's connected to the ball. And then we're just moving or punching that arm up and down. So we create that little trap of the connective tissue and then create the movement with the arm. Beautiful. One more uppercut up and down. And then when you're ready, relax everything with control, come up and away from the ball. And we're going to take it over to the other side. I'm going to spin around so that I'm facing out to the camera. Placing that ball underneath the armpit area. Take a second to find that. And then once you're there, bottom arm is going to lay nice and long. How you adjust your legs, that's just whatever feels more stable and comfortable. And then we're just going to do that little rocking forward and back, or just kind of swiggle around just a little bit, just so you can find that movement happening in that big muscle at the back of your body. Yes, nice work. Beautiful. One more little smush around. And then when you're ready, bottom hand is going to extend nice and long. Top hand's going to reach up. Take a little side bend. Reach, 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 reach. Beautiful. And then we're going to lift up, prop yourself up, move that ball underneath your ribs. And actually, we're going to have to do that side bend again because I did the wrong flow of order. But hands behind the head, find that position first. And then we're lifting up and squeezing and releasing with control. Doesn't have to be huge. All you need to find is that contraction in those oblique muscles and those side body muscles. So it doesn't need to be big, giant movement, but just enough that you feel those muscles contract and release. Two more to go. All right, and now when you're ready, release, take that nice big side bend, stretch, arms up and overhead, big breath in. Beautiful. Now prop yourself up just so you can move that ball so that it's underneath the shoulder head. So we're going to get it under that round top part of the shoulder. Once you've got that shoulder on, top hand is going to support, bottom hand is going to have a little freedom to move, and then we're going to do those uppercuts. So we're going to keep that muscle on the top rounded part of the shoulder connected to the ball so it's trapped. And then the movement of the arm helps move the muscles. Lovely. One more uppercut with that bottom arm. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly, slowly prop yourself up. We're going to spin around onto our back and we're going to take some bridge variations. So start by spinning around, finding your butt on the ground, and then place the ball between the knees and the inner thighs. Come down slow and controlled. Pause for a second just to make sure everything feels well adjusted, heels close to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart. Once you're there, we're going to start by maintaining a little squeeze of the inner thighs, hands down alongside the hips, but we're going to focus on the breath. So we're going to exhale as we lift up, inhale to lower down. That's the big thing here is for our hip health and for the health of our pelvic floor, exhaling as we effort and lift up, inhaling as we lower down is the way to go. And then if you can find that breath coming in through your nose and out through your nose, even better. Take one more time up and down, finding that focused breath pattern. And then the next time you touch down, grab that ball. We're going to place the ball so that it's underneath one foot. So now we're going to have a nice unstable bridge position. So ball under one foot, the other foot's still solid on the ground. We're going to come back to those bridges. We're going to stick with that breath pattern, but now it's going to feel a little uneven. So we're going to exhale as we lift up, inhale to lower down, keep as much control as you can, even though that ball is going to wobble under your foot a bit. Three more to go on this side. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, pass that ball over and across so that it's underneath your other foot. Give yourself a second to get yourself set up. And then once you feel like you're there, back to those bridges. Exhale as you lift. Inhale to release. One more up and down. And then when you're ready, we're going to pick up the ball with your feet if you can. Grab that ball, pass it into your hands, but then reset your feet up so that they're in that bridge position. And now we're going to just keep the ball above our chest with a little bit of a light squeeze. We're going to lift the hips up and keep the hips lifted. And now we're going to take it into some pelvic tucks. So we're just going to stay in that lifted bridge position. You're going to curl the tailbone under and release. And we're going to keep a light bit of tension as we press our palms into the ball. Take about 3 more tucks to the pelvis. And then before you lower your hips down, take that ball, pass it underneath your hips. We're going to center it underneath our tailbone. So it's in that nice, perfect center of the hips, and then lower your hips, let your hips relax, and then start to drop the marble from side to side. If you need to swivel your feet out a little bit wider, do what feels good. But now we're just going to imagine that there's a marble on the hip point, and we're rolling it over to the other hip point and then back to the other side. Nice. One more drop of the marble each side. And then as you come back to center, check in, make sure your back is feeling good, because this might feel like enough. You might be in a place that feels really good, but if this feels great and you want that little extra, you're going to walk your feet nice and long. You're going to keep your feet firm, legs solid. So a little bit of a flex in the foot. And then once you feel like you're good there, both arms are going to reach up and overhead. So now we're going to bring a little length through that front pocket area and that triangle of muscles in that front pubic area. So take 3 nice big breaths here. Awesome. Firm up your belly, float your arms down with control, step your feet in so you're in that bent knee position, and then lift your hips up, move that ball out from underneath your hips, roll your spine down nice and slow and controlled. And then when you're ready, we're going to find our way up to a seated position. So take your time as you come up to that seated position, maybe crisscross applesauce or Sukhasana. We want a little access to the front of the neck and the throat. And then if you're wearing glasses, it might feel beneficial to take them off in a second. So start with just that throat and the chest. So we're just going to push in and roll across. Beautiful. Now we're going to push in. We're going to hold at sort of so think of this front little portion of the neck and throat. So not full on the side, but just sort of off to the side slightly at that little bit of an angle. We're going to push in and hold that, but now we're going to draw little micro circles. So we want to trap the skin and connective tissue and then draw little circles with your nose, drawing in one direction. And then draw those little circles, go the other way. Beautiful. Now we're going to move it over a little bit further. So stay on that side, but now move it over to the side of the neck and then bend in and squeeze. So we're just going to push the ear into the ball, use the muscles in the side of the neck to create that little bit of tension. Two more squeezes on this side. And then lift your head up, move that ball over and across. So now we're at that front side angle position. So hold it in that place and then draw your little circles, circling in one direction. And then draw your circles, go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, move it on over so that it's the side of the neck. And I'm going to move over to the other side just because of my microphone, but then you're just going to do that little squeeze and release. One more little squeeze and release. And then if you're wearing glasses, take your glasses off, place them somewhere safe. And we're going to do a little push in and drag. So we're going to think to the chin, push in, drag up to the ear, lift off, bring it back down to the chin, push in, drag up to the ear, lift off and release, push into the chin, drag up to the ear, and then release. And now we're going to do it to the other side, but I'm just going to stay on this side because of my microphone. So push into the chin, drag off, lift it up to the ear, push in and drag up, push in and drag up. Awesome. And now we're going to take it to the forehead and we're going to do like we're turning a doorknob. So we're going to push in and twist and turn. It might mess your hair up just a little bit. So I hope you don't have anywhere fancy you have to go after this. But you should be totally sweaty anyways. So push in, twist and turn out towards one temple, push in and twist and turn all the way over and across to the other temple. One more little push in and twist, work your way back to center, and then release that ball from your head. And we're just going to do little twists of our hands. So like you're holding a little bit of a jar grip and you're trying to like wring the ball out. So just twist in one direction, twist in the other direction. Kind of notice how do your hands feel about doing that grip and twist work. One more little grip and twist, and then soften your fingers and just roll the ball around on your palms. One more little roll around of the palms, and we're going to place that ball right to the belly. Push in as much as you can. Close your eyes down for just a second. Take a nice big breath in. Think about breathing into the rib cage. So we're going to think about breathing into the ribs front to back, side to side, but keep that little bit of pressure on the belly. Exhale through your nose as slow as you can. Keep that pressure on the belly. Breathe into the rib cage. Nice full breath in through the nose. Breathe out through your nose as slow as you can, but still keep that pressure on the belly. Take one more breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, release that pressure, maybe give a couple of circles just to soothe out your abdomen. Put your glasses back on if you took them off. You guys are amazing. Happy Monday. Nice work today. Woo!